US President Donald Trump not wasting any time responding to what was the big show in Beijing. In a Truth Social post, he wrote, "May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and King Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America." For more on this, let's bring in Dave Rank. He's a former career diplomat with the US Foreign Service and was Deputy Chief of Mission in Beijing. I'm eager to get your perspective on all of this. But first, picking up on Donald Trump's calling this a sort of conspiracy against the US. This was clearly a show of force to an audience of one, the US president. Was this a product of Trump's own doing, to your mind?
Oh, I think to some degree. I'm not sure, though, Xi Jinping or the Chinese would see this as a directed just at Donald Trump. I mean, they were looking at a Chinese audience. They were looking at an audience around the world, and of course, looking at the United States as sort of one of many audiences for this. But your colleague talking about Kim Jong-un and the importance of that meeting, I think it really is significant. You look at 8 years ago when Donald Trump came in his first term in office. There was kind of a truce between the U.S. and China on trade issues, so that as Washington put pressure on Beijing to squeeze Pyongyang to come to the table, and that's completely changed now. Now it's very clear that there's not only sort of trade conflict, but also Beijing is making clear that North Korea is as close or closer than ever.
So this visual of Xi flanked by Putin and Kim is just remarkable. And I guess we should ask just how concerned the US in principle should be about this. And beyond the show of unity against the West, are there any tangible outcomes from this summit, this parade that we've seen today that worry you?
Well, a lot of it should worry people in the United States. I was less struck by Xi Jinping standing next to Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, although that's significant, than the fact that you had the leader of India there. And that's probably more significant. I would say almost 30 years American presidents have courted India as a counterweight to China, and in a very short amount of time, we have seen that U.S.-India relationship crumble.
I think it's important to point out that while this was a huge show of sort of military and diplomatic force to a degree, certainly, with no involvement of the US or indeed the West. And for some time we've heard from that part of the world, from these leaders very specifically, that there is a new world order sort of burgeoning. I just wonder, when you go beyond the kind of optics of this, how much sort of, real sort of substance there is to this sort of tectonic changing of plates, as it were, when it comes to sort of geopolitics?
Sure, and I think that's exactly the right question, because parades are symbolism. They're about showing, seeing who shows up and what shows up, the kinds of equipment. But does China have the ability to step in and play the role, or the interest in playing the role that the United States has played for the last decades? I think of commercially, is China willing to be the buyer of last resort, as the United States was up until really the first Trump presidency? And militarily, is China interested and willing to play a role outside of its immediate neighborhood? Certainly, I see the pictures that are being on the screen now. It has a lot of equipment that would make it a very serious adversary, if it were to play an outsized role.
And I've got a guest to speak sort of, military assets, military investment, tactics going forward. So I want to leave that just for the moment, because I do want you to speak to whether you believe that the US has a clear China strategy at present. Former Congresswoman and defense expert Jane Harman has told CNN that she thinks there is no US strategy towards China at this point, just tactics. Just have a listen.
I don't think we have any strategy. I think we have a series of tactics which shift on the day. And I think foreign leaders understand this. They don't want Trump to hate them, so they play him. She has a long-term strategy to supplant the liberal world order with a Chinese world order, and he's playing Trump beautifully. Everywhere we leave, he goes. Think Africa.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. And particularly on the point, yes, I mean, there has been a long-term U.S. strategy towards China, not always perfectly executed. I think that clearly is in the past. Now it is a collection of tactics, and they are often not supporting tactics. So I think that analyst Jane Harman is right in the big picture and in the small picture as well.
Which I assume I'm right in saying worries you, correct?
I spent a long time working on that imperfectly executed but consistent strategy towards China over 3 decades of my career. I'm not sure where that goes, and I wish I had more confidence. If there's a strategy, it is one of the best kept secrets in America, because it certainly looks like a collection of tactics or knee-jerk reactions or sort of personal whims at times, and that's a bad place to be. The rest of the world, for better or worse, could look at the United States and reasonably predict what we were going to do. I don't think you can do that anymore, and it's not a great way to run a railroad. So, Xi Jinping, I think, is offering an alternative that isn't attractive to some countries, but there's something to be said for predictability, and she is offering to fill the void that the United States has left in the last few months.
এটা বাচ্চা তুমি কোৱাচোন কি কৰি ভাল পোৱা
গুডে মই তোৱালে যুদ্ধ কৰি ভাল
তোৱাল যুদ্ধ নাই বাছা তোৱাল যুদ্ধ নাই বুইছা তোৱালে থাকে যেনেকৈ পাইদম খাপ মাই যাবা কাবা খাপ মাই নাকটো নিবা কাবা খাপ মাই কাণখন আনিবা মুঠপত চাবা যাতে খাপৰ জেগাতেই পৰে ভাল আছে
এতিয়া বাচ্চা তুমি কোৱাচোন কি কৰি ভাল পোৱা
কোৱাচোন
মই হাতী পিঠিত উঠি ভাল পাওঁ
এইটো তোৰ ভাল কথা আমাৰ দৈত্যকল হাতী পিঠিত উঠিব লাগে বুইছা হাতী পিঠিত উঠোতে খালি সদায় তুমি এটা কথা মন কৰিবা খুৰা পিনৰ পৰা উঠিবা মানে নেগুৱা পিনৰ পৰা নুঠিবা কাৰণ হাতীয়ে লঠিয়াবও পাৰে ভাল আছে পিছে দাদাও এই পলাদুবাই কি কৰি ভাল পাইবা তুমি সুধাচোন
এই পলাদু ক'ব
সুধা
এতিয়া বাচ্চা পলাদু এতিয়া তুমি কোৱাচোন কি কৰি ভাল পোৱা
গুৰুদেৱ মোৰ হৰি নাম গাই বৰ ভাল লাগে
তই পলাদু তই পাগল হলি হেৰো এই মুখা কেলে পাগল কৰিছ
ঐ খণ্ড মই হাউতকে নি কিবা মুঠি নেখামগৈ নেকি
বৰ ভাল কথা
এই পলাদক লগ পোৱা দিন ধৰি মোৰ মনটো কেনিবা পিনে ঢাল খালেই নহয় খালেই মানে কিবা চেটলেং পেটলেং
তেতিয়াহ'লে কথাই নাই
কি
এই নচচা হুলালৰ উঠিবলৈ সাজু হৈ থাক
খণ্ড তোমাৰ এডোখৰতে দীঘলকৈ সেৱা ভাগি দিছোঁ বুজিছ মুঠপত মহাজাভাং মাৰিলেও মই কাটিলে কাটক আমি সেই নচচা হুলত উঠা আগতে সকে মহাজাগতি সিহঁতক চমজাই দিয়ে ভাল হ'ব বুজিছ ঐ বল তহঁতি বহি ফালিব নালাগে এতিয়া বল